or scheduled, basically. There's several more we're working on, at least, and maybe more than that, but there's 3 for sure, being the ADUs and the associate planning board member and farm animals, all of which need to be created or updated.
And
So-
earth removal.
We may get to that. We might get to earth removal too. Well, that's a bigger bite, I think. Anyway, we're gonna, in short, we're doing what we can, and if we be on time, what we're hoping to do is finish them up in draft form this calendar year, give them to the select board to look at, and we will have a hearing on each of them, and we'll then incorporate what comes out of the hearing, and then come back with a warrant for the select board to send to legal, and all hoping that we could have perhaps a special town meeting in, well, at this point I would hope it could be in February, 4 months ahead of the annual town meeting, which can be, we'd like to get them in place as soon as possible. So that's our timetable, and I mention it also so that the board will, if there's other things that the board or anybody else in town that can sponsor or wants to sponsor the bylaw change, they can take advantage of that schedule too. And you could, for example, I think you'd mentioned occupancy tax or whatever else you might have together to present for a hearing, perhaps a joint hearing, and then in the warrant for the same special town meeting. That might be a good way to go about it if you're working on your calendar. So that was the first thing. I had one other, if I may. Or questions?
Yeah, a quick question on you mentioned the bylaws. Did you run anything by town council? Because there was a few in that report, the AG's finding on the bylaws that you should speak to town council about.
Oh yeah, I've seen that in every one of the.
I'm just wondering if you had the
Every one of the ones the
opportunity to
AG puts back to any town where they basically say, this is okay, no problem, there's no basis to deny that. But they will always caution, particularly around things like solar and ADUs and others where recent legislations come in, they will caution the town to make sure they don't go into what they would consider unreasonable enforcement or over-regulation or something. So they do, almost as a boilerplate, say, talk to town council when you're actually implementing any of these changes. That which would happen during not in the bylaw writing process, but in the implementation of it when there was an actual application and the board was deciding whether a permit was to be granted or not, or what conditions, etc. Thank you. Yeah, that's a consideration. There was also some mention in the review about accessory dwelling units and so forth, which I don't know why they keep talking about. We took it out. That's one of the ones we're going to be doing next. So we're well aware of what has to be and what can be in that bylaw, and you'll see that when we finish it, which should be pretty soon.
Okay.
Thank you. The other thing, if I may, has to do with grants. So we see different grants come up. We've talked about this before, and then some of them get by, and some of them get applied for, and some of them get awarded, and all that's good. The biggest one, the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant, I was reading up on more about that, and that's the biggest one. I think at the top for us would be $850,000 that we might be able to get, correct?
Last year we got 950.
I think they lowered it, the maximum for what do they call it? For the one town single grant. I mean, it's a little more if you're in two, but then you got to split it 2 towns. Anyway, my point is that the fiscal 26 applications are going to be out, they said, in January, and then due in March. And what I'm hoping the town is on track to do is look at is have in mind in time to put on the application what it is that we would want to do and involve the process of having different interests in town and different boards weigh in on what the priorities really are. Capital planning, for example, planning board maybe, and a select board, I don't know, but rather than just say, let's just do infrastructure and just see what streets need it the most, because there's a lot of need, and I'd go so far as saying I would love to know, and I know I've raised this before, the buildings that are so decrepit, the 20, 22, 18, 20, 22, and 24, I think, in Gilbertville, been condemned. No taxes coming in for many years, I believe. No seizing of them, and I imagine that's because if we were to take them, we'd own the buildings for the uncollected taxes, and we couldn't auction them in that form with the condemned buildings on them and make any money. So my question is, in an area that qualifies in general, like Gilbertville, is CDBG, would they entertain as part of that application to say, let's fill the gap in dollar-wise and allow the town to seize those properties, own them, raise them, take them down, get them in condition where they could be auctioned off with some sort of intentional, something in mind for us, like maybe it's some multi-use, or maybe it's a storefront with apartments above, or something where we could invite a developer to actually fill those spaces. Right now, we have to pay a bunch of money to make that happen because they're not worth what they are. They're not worth anything right now as they stand. But that would be, I think, a great use of the money if that's where we have to go to get it done.
Mr. Chair, do you want me to respond?
Sure.
So revitalization too is part of the CDBG program. I'm sure you're familiar with condemning and knocking down buildings. That is not. But I do have to check because I'm not sure if we're eligible this season for another CDBG or next year. So I do have to double check with that. But revitalizing areas like Gilbertville, like Hardwick Center wouldn't qualify, but an area like Gilbertville does qualify under the CDBG program. But revitalizing, certain corridors, that definitely is a qualifying event for that program.
That would be good.
Yep.
And now I'm not sure what I'm going to say next completely, but I believe that there was some problem in getting Gilbertville qualified entirely, or as much as could happen, or whatever, because one of the requirements is that a certain percentage of the people have to have income that is not 80% of the area average, if that's right. So in other words, lower income than average, and Gilbertville probably will right too, but Gilbertville certainly qualifies for that. But they had problem getting it all okay because the way they gather that information is to go door to door. They hire people to go door to door and ask what their income is. And understandably, a lot of people didn't want to answer the questions or answer the door or something. So I think they were missing some of that. So when the time comes, people of Gilbertville and anywhere else, if they're representing CMRPC or whatever, tell them the truth and help us get qualified for the grants. That's an obstacle.
Well, when we get closer to it, though, we can put it on the select board agenda, have an open discussion, so it'll be on YouTube, so that people in the town and Gilbertville realize people will be contacting you, and this is to benefit Gilbertville or the town of Hardwick. So we'll find out all the information, we'll add it to a future agenda.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else? All right, moving on. New business. Appointment of Patricia Lally, per diem library assistant.
Mr. Chair, you'll see in your packet an email from Jenna Garvey, the president of the Library Board of Trustees. We interviewed 5 candidates for these positions, and 2 were selected. If you take a vote tonight, just note that it has to be pending a query check. Neither of these people have been queried yet, but they have their references checked out, and the interview panel is excited about them, and I don't know if Jenna's here if she wants to say anything.
Well, I'm here to answer questions. Originally, we were looking to hire 1 person, and Justine helped us in advertising that, and to my shock and amazement, considering it was part-time, low pay, no benefits, we had a lot of great applicants. People with their master's degree in library science. One of the women on here has her doctorate in education. So we were pretty excited, and then as it so happened, we were looking for one per diem, and then our regular library assistant ended up resigning, and so we turned that one position into 2 positions, but it will still come from the same line item. Our director is anticipating being out from anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks on medical leave, which is what kind of prompted us to get a per diem person, so one person doesn't have to run the entire department by themselves for that amount of time. And we just had a great pool of applicants, so when we had 2 positions, we asked our top 2 people, and they both said yes, so.
Great. All right, thank you.
I'll make a motion to appoint Patricia Lally as the per diem library assistant.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I'll make the motion to appoint Elizabeth Buck as the library assistant.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion on schoolhouse number 6.
Chairman Boeheim asked for this to be on the agenda to discuss with Ms. Siren, but so I don't see either of them here.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
I think
table
we
it?
can table it, move on.
Okay, we'll
What-
table it tonight and
Which meeting would you like me to add it to?
we'll reach out and check with Liz, but probably, meeting in December.
That was what, she wanted this on the agenda and she's not here, so.
Okay. So we'll table it to the first meeting in December. Bill?
Thank you. Actually, I'm not sure, I should ask this while Jenna was still here, but maybe you could tell me, I think I heard her say that both of the salaries would now be on one line item, and I'm wondering how that works, because I think both positions are, before there were 2 positions that were town employees, both part-time, I believe. And then the per diem was going to be added to be just while the director was absent, but now there's another. So I guess what I'm asking is, how much of this is coming from the library's own endowment, and how much of it is coming from the town?
Mr. Chair, you want me to answer that?
Sure.
All of it is coming from the salary line. So, yes, the catalyst for the per diem position was the director going to be out, and for safety reasons and other reasons, we do not want just one person at the library. But also, it's really hard for either one of the 2 employees to either take vacation or leave or whatever, because then we'd be back to 1. So because it's just library assistants, we're legally allowed to pay out of the same line. So there's no addition to the budget.
Same town budget line.
Yep.
Yep, there's no addition to the
Yeah.
budget.
Okay.
It's just being paid for out of the same place in the absence of a library assistant or the director when she goes on leave.
And when the director comes back, the per diem has ended, is that?
It's still per diem. For example, like if someone needs to take a vacation or a sick day or something, then we'll have someone on call to come in and fill in, just so no one's there by themselves.
Makes sense, thank you.
And one's a per diem and one is a 19-hour per week position. So Elizabeth Buck is the 19 hours per week. Correct?
Right, pretty much a straight,
Yep.
the same position that Nancy Lamb had held.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Discussion and vote on Page Mixer Trust.
So the only update that I have on this, more to come, is the email that I had sent out about the statute of limitations has expired. I sent that out today for the Ruggles Hill Street School building. So that is the only update tonight.
Okay. So we'll keep it on the agenda
Yep.
for our next
Yeah.
meeting.
I don't think we're gonna be
Yep.
taking any vote on it, that's for sure.
Nope.
Okay, Sewer Commission, abatement of 1921 Grove Street, Gilbertville.
Yep, so this is one multifamily that has been vacant for a long time. They have submitted all their proper paperwork, all their National Grid bills. So I have that for you, both of you to sign tonight.
Okay. Motion, you're good with it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the abatement for 19 to 21 Grove Street in Gilbertville.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Town Administrator's Report. Justine, you're up.
So we held our second walkthrough for the townhouse revitalization grant. And then today was actually the bid opening for that project. We received 3 bids. All 3 were over the budgeted amount. So I'm actually gonna reach out to OIG tomorrow and see if we, I don't wanna call it like cherry picking, instead of rebidding, if we could just do part of the project, because all 3 of the bids came in way over the amount of the grant. So more on that to come. DOR has certified our tax rate and our free cash has been certified.
Okay, great.
We're still working on, ongoing on standardizing our financial policies and procedures. We held our bi-weekly financial management planning meeting with the treasurer, accountant, and the assessor. I had a meeting with Chairman Wilhelm and members of CMRPC on the MVP grant. We're advertising for a wastewater treatment plant operator, highway equipment operator, and a van driver. I attended the Massachusetts Municipal Association Policy Committee on Personnel and Labor Relations. I serve on that board. And I met with the chair of the Library Board of Trustees. I had our monthly department head meeting today because Thursday's the holiday. Liquor license renewals, Class 2 and Class 3 auto renewals are slowly trickling back in. So your next meeting in December will be the liquor license renewals, and then after that will be the Class 2 and the Class 3 renewals.
Okay.
Deadline for the liquor licenses is on Wednesday, and I did reach out to the 6 outstanding, and one of them has brought theirs in, and they all know they need to get it in by Wednesday.
Okay.
I attended the Massachusetts Municipal Managers Association Fall Conference on Strategic Planning. I actually got the documents from that conference today, and I'm actually think I'm going to send that PowerPoint presentation out to the board because I think you would find it interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that.
All right, thank you.
Attended the Quabbin Watershed Zoom meeting with Senator Comerford's office. I met with the chair and the Barry chair and town administrator on some personnel matters. Recognition, I want to recognize Chief Landine. And the reason why I want to do that is because I've noticed a change in morale in that department. I've also had other officers from other departments comment to me about the morale in our department. So I'm really, really happy with all the positive feedback that we're getting, and Chief Landine just secured a $30,000 grant for a cruiser. He still has time to do our IT stuff that we need, and I just think it's overall just been a great experience. He's running the toy drive, which that brings me to a couple announcements. The annual Stuff a Cruiser toy drive is December 6th from 9 to 12 at the Southbury Rod and Gun Club. We are still running our food drive because we've had such a great turnout here. We've had 3 pickups so far, and we're already full again. We're going to run it till the end of the year.
Okay, great.
So those bins are still in the foyer of Town Hall. And that's what I have tonight.
All right, well, thank you very much. Do you have any questions or anything?
No, I don't.
Okay. Select Board Roundtable.
I do have something tonight.
Okay.
I was noticing in the sewer report that we are short still 2 positions, and he had mentioned that being short those 2 positions is I have it on my phone.
Yes, we're down 1 person. We're not down 2. We're down 1. We need 4. We have 3. But the reason why you might be thinking 2 is because one of them doesn't have all of his certifications yet.
Okay.
He's still in his probationary period. But once he will be...
The number that he had in his report was 2. That's
Okay.
what I'm going on.
Okay.
So we're essentially just down 1?
Body. However, we need the other one to have his certifications.
Okay,
Right, licensing.
Yeah.
all right. But that's kind of concerning. It's been a while.
It's been very concerning. We are not getting applicants for highway or wastewater, which is why I talk about it on the radio. I talk about it everywhere. We are not getting applicants for those 2 positions.
Okay.
And the ones if we do get someone, it's some random person 3 hours away that just is looking to check a box for their unemployment. We're not getting good applicants at all.
Okay. Like I said, I'm just very concerned that
Yeah, we need to fill
we
the
need to
positions.
fill those positions.
Yes. Okay, great.
All right, that was it?
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up, family and friends throughout Hardwick. Hope you take the time, enjoy each other's company, enjoy Thanksgiving. Just like to say thank you. That's it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just remember-
6:52.
Yeah, got it
This side,
signed.
yes.